5620 transfer news. So yeah, people, let's actually see what's going on, because I'm aware that news has emerged, in relation to Arsenal and things. Let's tab police are gonna kill me for this one, but there's bare of them, bare tabs. But let's start, people, with what we're doing. Deflecting the question like a true manager. Come on, man. It is what it is, man. Is it possible in the EPL for supporters to help the team financially to procure a player they like? I mean, it'd be a dangerous territory if a club was demanding that, in it. But Arsenal submit improved Mudryk transfer bid, says Charles Watts and a number of people. Arsenal have made an improved offer. So this would be our second offer for Mudryk as they step up their attempts to land their priority January transfer target. Mudryk is Arsenal's priority January transfer target. Talks with Shakhtar Donetsk have been ongoing for weeks. Mikel Arteta wants the deal done quickly. The Gunners have already had one offer for Mudryk rejected by Shakhtar, which was understood to have totaled around 55 million, including add-ons. But Goal can confirm that the Premier League leaders have now raised their bid for the 21-year-old, who is desperate to make a move to North London this month, and even used his Instagram page, smash the like button, people, and subscribe, to publicly praise Mikel Arteta on Saturday. The bigger picture, Shakhtar have yet to respond to the offer, and the club's hierarchy will now meet to decide whether it's acceptable. Key figures at the Ukrainian club have publicly valued their prize asset at around 90 million, and this is the second offer, and this second offer is believed to be well below that figure once again. Arsenal are hopeful a compromise can be reached. However, with both clubs having been locked in talks for weeks over the potential structure of any deal should one be reached, people. So, as you can see here, chattings, a two-top coach, chattings. Arsenal will be hoping Shakhtar deem this latest offer acceptable, as they are keen to get a deal for Mudryk over the line as swiftly as possible. With Chelsea believed to be monitoring developments closely, Arteta wants to add more firepower to his title-chasing squad, and Mudryk has long been identified as the priority for this January window. The Gunners host Newcastle in the Premier League on Tuesday night, knowing that victory will see them move 10 points clear at the top of the table, inshallah. Don't forget, 6:50 tomorrow, we'll be watching that, people. So yeah, that is that in relation to Mudryk. We're going to go and see what some other reports and all of this jazz is saying as well, people. If you haven't hit the like button, make sure you're doing such. Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal have now improved their proposal to sign Mudryk, confirmed as talks are on after 40 million euros plus 20 million bid rejected. It's up to Shakhtar now, as this publication reported. Allegedly, Chelsea are also interested in Mudryk in case Arsenal deal collapse. Arsenal remain priority. So he's already getting brownie points. Ben Jacobs has said Arsenal have now made a second bid for Mudryk, told the total package remains under 70 million euros. Arsenal are optimistic a deal will get done, and done for far less than the 100 million Shakhtar are publicly quoting. Key to success is the structure. Shakhtar want around 55 million euros up front. Ben Jacobs also said Mudryk wants to move, telling me back in September he can't say no to Arsenal. Personal terms with Arsenal have already been agreed, says the man himself. I've tried to click on Ben Jacobs' account, actually. On Joao Felix, he said the Joao Felix, and check out the video I did just before this, people. We went over Joao Felix and the long ass Atletico article where it spoke about them. But the Joao Felix situation remains unchanged, as previously reported last week. A give is needed by Atletico Madrid to make a loan more appealing. The fee and wage are currently not seen as valued by any suitors. As you can see, Arsenal have now made allegedly a second bid for Mudryk, people, as we saw there. In relation to Declan Rice, Ghana blogger said they expect him to be on the summer transfer market for at least 80 million. I'd bring Declan Rice for 80 million. My bias is I'd rather just buy that. Unless there's a Van Dijk or Alisson, I'd rather just spend that on some attackers, really. Declan Rice is a baller, but I'm sure you could shop around and find the skill set of Declan Rice, not to discredit him, really. If I'm completely honest with you, Arsenal have been following Montpellier striker Wahi for several months now, and have intensified their interest. Someone we've done videos on before, people. Looks decent, still not really outbreaking and things, but maybe he's caught the eye, and whatever scout is in charge of monitoring, Saliba must have an opinion on him. And obviously our striker Balogun's out there in France as well, so you can monitor these things, but that tells you you're on the lookout. I don't know what that would mean for Balogun and or Eddie Nketiah, or indirectly Gabriel Jesus, but yeah, Arsenal confident of Mudryk breakthrough as improved transfer bid launched. No other clubs in talks with Shakhtar, allegedly, people. Apparently he's got his heart set on a move to Arsenal, as you can see there, people. Let's see what this is. Let's see what SR Collins is saying. I mean, everyone. It's always funny when these things come out because every journalist is just giving their opinion on the same old thing, innit? But for what it's worth, Arsenal have made a new and improved offer for Shakhtar Donetsk winger Mudryk as talks with the Ukrainian club heat up over a blockbuster January transfer. The Gunners have made Mudryk their top target in this transfer window and have already had an initial bid of around 55 million rejected. Talks have continued between the two clubs since then, and it's understood Arsenal have now conveyed their willingness to increase their offer. Mudryk has been scouted by several clubs over the past 18 months, but it's understood that Shakhtar are currently only in talks with Arsenal. The first bid of 55 million from Arsenal, which included around 20 million add-ons, was made as a way to kickstart talks. Regular dialogue has now opened up between the two clubs, and there is confidence and agreement can be found for Mudryk to secure the move he desires. We all know they've publicly stated a mad figure for him, people. You know, the most conservative of those mad figures is 85 million. However, Arsenal hope a deal can be done for less. It's thought the structure of the deal... it's thought the structure of the add-ons and the upfront fee will be important to find an agreement that suits all parties. That makes sense. Mudryk has expressed a strong desire to join Arsenal, and again, tired of hearing about his social media antics now, really. So that's that. I think the Guardian has also said it again, confirming talks are ongoing with the Ukrainian club. So it is what it is, people. Apparently, our first bid of 35.5 plus 17.7 million in add-ons wasn't enough. So yeah, everyone at this point is reiterating the same thing, innit, people? So we can close that. Looking at that, I mean, we've just seen that. We can close that. We can close that. We can close that. Pardon me. Arsenal have now made an improved offer for Mudryk. Now Shakhtar considering whether to accept or continue negotiation. Shout out to all these Arsenal accounts that reconvey the news as well, people. The Telegraph understands that as part of the ongoing conversation between Arsenal and Shakhtar for Mudryk, the Gunners have now signalled their willingness to raise the bid from their initial offer that was around 55 million. So everyone just recycling the same thing. A man said, yes, tab officer, this stream, allow me, hey, you snitch. What's going on? So yeah, apparently Shakhtar have yet to respond to Arsenal's new offer for Mudryk, and the club's hierarchy will now decide. So we've done our bit. We've tabled an offer. You know, we've agreed personal terms. We've signaled our willingness to get things done. We just need to take our time. We're the only club in talks, which doesn't mean others aren't on the back burners, but that must mean other clubs have conceded while there's interest. His willingness and his heart is to go with Arsenal. Things can change, but unless there's a spanner in the works for Arsenal, we signed a man, in it. Of course, we're overpaying, you know. Of course, we're overpaying, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Do you really think Liverpool wanted to pay 80 million for Van Dijk or whatever for Alisson? Do you think we wanted to pay 50 million for Benjamin White off one Premier League season? Of course not, you know. But nobody wants to sell good players. When you want to buy good players, you know, you have to find something. You know, Cody Gakpo to Liverpool deal, and I don't think Liverpool acted, but for argument's sake, you know, you're in business. Why would you want to pay more if you don't have to or you don't want to, you know? They paid that. We got 30 million. We've got Odegaard for 30 million. I don't think them prices, you actually just give them what they want. But it is what it is, you know, really. At the end of the day, he's 21. If he's got all this potential and Arteta knows how to get it out of him, in 5 years, he's 26. He might have achieved a hell of a bunch of Arsenal, and the other big boys are in for him, or the bigger clubs are in for him. You sell him for something ridiculous, we keep it moving, really. Because at 21, he's not going to be here till he's 31, is he? You know? Everyone's, and I do agree with slight pocket watching, but everybody in this regards, but everyone's a transfer expert and that, you know, really. It's only overpaying if you do the job. When people were on to Ben, well, 50 million, you do the job, no one cares. Charles Watson suggested Yuri Tielemans' interest could be rekindled this winter. Specifically, what has he said? 6 months left. Sorry, he said, will they make a move for long-term target Yuri Tielemans? That's one that might well rumble on during the January window. And we've heard Newcastle are interested, allegedly. 6 months left on his contract potentially could get him for a pretty decent fee if Leicester decide to sell or to see if Arsenal do sort of rekindle their interest in him. So we're going to have to see how that one develops, really, people. The Athletic, there's no way on God's green earth I'm reading this again, people. Check out my last live stream where we went over it. But it kind of just signified, you know, really what's going on, people. I think this is the bulk of it. Like I said, check out my last video I dropped today where at least 17 minutes was spent on that. Shout out to everyone who did watch that. You know, it is all hypothetical, my guy. And don't forget to smash the likes and that, of course. But anyways, trying to just focus on Joao Felix. Liverpool have just agreed to sign Cody Gakpo from PSV Eindhoven. Manchester City are not thought to be interested, but Arsenal, United and Chelsea have to different degrees been at least considering the option of signing Joao Felix this month. United and Arsenal have both expressed their interest, but not at the level of finance Atletico are seeking. None of those clubs have bitten at the 21 million euros asking price for his loan, and industry figures believe that may come down, perhaps significantly, as the January transfer window progresses. The question is, at what point does the package of the loan fee and salary become attractive to the decision makers at the Emirates, Old Trafford and Stamford Bridge? Arsenal do like Joao Felix, and some influential figures at the club believe he would be an ideal addition, especially on loan. The current PL leaders would see it as similar to the initial loan that brought Odegaard from Real Madrid to their corner of North London in this window 2 years ago. Arsenal provide a platform for the player to reignite their career with the potential to earn a permanent move. With Odegaard, that worked out very well. The difference between that transfer and Joao Felix would be much higher ultimate cost of a permanent deal. As we know, there's a shortage of players, people. We don't really have that much attacking players. Trying to focus on the build on it. With Jesus already out, a multifaceted strike attacker, such as Joao Felix would be of obvious benefit as the Premier League leaders look to sustain their challenge for the title the club last won in 03-04. It's understood that Joao Felix maintains contact with his former Atletico teammate Thomas Partey, who switched to the Emirates in October 2022. And that could help Arsenal convince him if the move comes down to a personal choice. The Portugal forward does have international teammates at Arsenal and Manchester United too. Of course, technically, Cedric, has he worked with Fabio Vieira for under-21s? Has Fabio Vieira been in the Portugal main team? I'm not sure. But Arsenal's interest to be firmed up, that loan fee would have to be cut significantly. There was contact between United and Atletico's hierarchies about Joao Felix last summer. At that point, the Athletic was told Atletico would even turn down a bid from Old Trafford, and the Spanish press reports of 135 million price tag. However, ideally, United would like to add a more traditional centre forward, especially following Ronaldo's mid-season departure. The size of the current package is considered too expensive, even for a club with United's resources. So that tells us, they're going for more of a traditional number 9. Because, they've got Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, Martial, guys that can kind of play anywhere. Or that even where we heard United are more likely to seek a loan, have changed what they're doing, really. A man said political Palmer slowly lowering his guard. Need to see shameless DG. Sorry, DG. The current league leaders, allegedly, I don't check the league table. Chelsea are looking to upgrade their attack in the transfer window. It's believed they are closely looking at Joao Felix. Again, although his profile may not be ideal, as the West London club would prefer a more specialist penalty box goal scorer. All involved are also well aware that the situation is very fluid. Like I said, check out my last video on this, people, where we looked at this in depth as well, people. So in bulk, there's a willingness to get it done, really, but we'll have to see. As the January window was about to open, Atletico sources told the Athletic that there was no active negotiations with any club, but it did not dispute that intermediaries were working on sorting a move. So it seems a bit more like agent-led. It doesn't seem like Atletico will sell you if you want to go, if we can make our bread back, but it seems a bit like Arsenal, United, Chelsea, anyone there just reactive to the situation of probably being able to get Joao Felix versus forcing the boat out a bit. Like we're actively going after Mudryk, picking up from the summer, which it happens. January is a reactive market, injuries, contracts, bust-ups, all these things really. So yeah, it is what it is. If the cost of the loan deal falls to a level that one of his English suitors deems worth taking, Joao Felix will be playing in the Premier League very soon. It states there, people. What is this? I mean, we've seen this about fucking hell. Gary Speed's widow can't catch a break, man. RIP. That's some shit news, isn't it? But we've kind of seen that. So it's the true cost is 21 million. The bulk of that is a fee and his wages. 21 million for 4 months, depending on how this drags on into January. I'm not too sure. Arsenal trigger extensions for Saka and Saliba, as we're in talks to not only get them two, but get Martinelli to sign new deals. So negotiations continue. Hopefully that's as good as a new signing, people. So we'll have to monitor that one. We've seen this already. What's all of this? This was about Newcastle and Tielemans. Dean Jones of this has said Newcastle's interest in Tielemans could spark Arsenal into action, because if Newcastle were to lodge a bid, that might mean Arsenal have to go and spend money on him. With the pursuit of Mudryk and Joao Felix, something would have to give surely. They prefer not to do that. They prefer to wait and get him on a free. But I think if Newcastle did make a bid, then it would make things pretty interesting. I think Arsenal want Tielemans. I think they're open to it. I think they prefer to wait till the summer, but I think he's one of them where quality player would add a lot. But if we miss him, it's not that sort of deep, really, if I'm honest. I personally think that's the thinking. On Mudryk, Fabrizio has said, timing will be crucial. Arsenal have to be fast. This is really important. Talks are still ongoing with Shakhtar to reach an agreement in the next few days. On personal terms, there'd be no problem as he'd love to move to Arsenal. People, let's start closing tabs as well. It's getting a bit mad. I mean, you know, if we could go back for Rafinha, that's an option. Barca must reduce the wage bill by at least 200 million, as the club can no longer use any economic levers to sign players. A big departure is needed. So cue the De Jong to Man United links and Rafinha and Cressier and all these guys. We've been saying it, but personal terms where Mudryk's concern has been agreed. Fabrizio has said new contacts will take place this week for Joao Felix deal. Prem clubs will now have direct talks with his agent, George Mendes. Smash the like button and subscribe, people. Chelsea are focused on Enzo deal. Man United and Arsenal already had talks with Mendes. PSG not in the race as of now. And we covered a lot of this in the last stream, people. So let's just start clipping them. So yeah, man, it is what it is where this is concerned. And Joao Felix, again, 21 million for a 6-month loan fee, 15 million euros plus 6. That's great for them because they would have what's the word? Cured back, like brought back 21 million of the 140 million euros. So they might say we'll let him go for 80 in the summer. But it doesn't really benefit us if there's no permanent option, because you're just training a player that's going to be sold elsewhere, or they're going to move the goalposts and try and expect more of us. So yeah, that's that. Once again, Saka and Saliba's contracts have been extended by a year as contract talks between them and Martinelli rumble on, people. So yeah, man, I think that's it. Ben Jacobs has said, if Arsenal agrees a deal with Shakhtar, it doesn't matter who comes in, as Mudryk will choose Arsenal. I mean, I hope you're right. You know, I hope you're right, but you're not his brother or nothing, so I don't really know, people. But hopefully that does happen. Let's close that. Let's read that later. Big up Martin Odegaard. We've been linked with Ivan Ilic, who plays in Italy. He's quite decent. I spoke about him already. Vlahovic rumours won't go away. Apparently, his agent is in contact with both Chelsea and Arsenal, obviously, with what's going on with Juventus off the field. And it looks like Vlahovic is struggling a bit. I don't know if Arsenal will cross that bridge again. Once again, Mudryk accepted our contract offer. We've spoken about McAllister in the last vid. Milinkovic-Savic will not consider new contract talks with Lazio. The Serbia midfielder is a target for Juventus and Arsenal this month. Sky Italia says Milinkovic-Savic is ready to leave Lazio and won't consider talks about a new deal with the Romans. However, Lazio are reluctant to part with the player during the winter market, despite his deal expiring in 2024. So him, I believe Declan Rice, Benacia, and there's probably a bunch of them. Next summer is probably when it's doing, really. Fabrizio doing his standard Arsenal recycle and repackage job. Allow him, man. He raided my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel. So he'll have a friend in me, man. Leave Fabrizio alone. To wrap up the transfer bit of this, you know, what's actually been said here specifically. Oh, wow. Thought when you refresh, it takes you to the top of the page, but all right. So as we've said, people, improved offer has been made for Mudryk. Allegedly, apparently, were to bid for Moses Caicedo of 60 million euros. Report primarily out of Spain. Not too sure on the credibility in that. Juventus hoping to include Arthur and Gabriel. They allow it. You know, we dodged a bullet. He can't stay fit for Liverpool. He couldn't do nothing at Juventus. If you want Gabriel, buy him properly. None of them shags there, them finesses there. That one there is gone. So we have to see how that goes. Arsenal have triggered Saliba's extension. I have no clue who this Molder midfielder Mansverk is, but Arteta, speak to the Glaswegian Odegaard, your captain, who's from the same country. He might be able to put the word in and see what's going on. We've been linked with Skriniar. His contract is running down, so take it with a pinch of salt. But I'm all for that. Don't think we move for him though. We've spoken about Joao Felix. City want Benjamin White. Give us the bread. They've been linked with Tierney. Give us the bread as well. So we'll have to see, people, really and truly. But in relation to the transfer market, that appears to be that, if I'm completely honest with you. Yeah, that's that, really. There you have it. How long have we been in talks with Saka over the new contract? Has to be close to a year now, probably. Balogun is much better than Nketiah, bro. Only that Balogun has never been given enough games in the Premier League to prove himself. Currently has 10 and 16. That's good. It's a good problem to have. I don't really care who's better, who's not good, who's this and that. Let's do what we're doing. Mudryk's in London already. Who told you? I'm curious to know why Liverpool don't seem like they overpay like we do. Two different clubs, but they have overpaid at times, and it's benefited them. 100 million for Darwin Núñez. You think they wanted to pay that? Why does Arsenal take long to sign good players, and yet him at the moment? No clue what you're saying there, my guy. don't think I've asked this, but who do you think is the better player, DG, Balogun or Eddie? At this moment in time, Eddie Nketiah. I think he's got better general play than Balogun, but I think Balogun's got a higher ceiling. But in truth, what do I know? And he's already conquered his goal, really, of getting 10 top flight goals, and he did that already. Let's not get held to ransom for this Mudryk hype. We have to get it done now. Too much chat. I want enough time to get a midfielder or someone else in. The 2 goals scored by Brighton showed that once Partey came out, as well as the fullbacks, it's crazy. Mudryk is like the girl who likes you more than you like them. For that reason alone, I think it will work. Shout out Dave, bless up for 2023. I'll sit back, relax, and go with whatever Edu/Arteta brings in. Trust the process in full effect. Amen. Until they give you reason not to, you've earned it right now. If we manage to win or get second this season, Caicedo would move easily to us next season. Again, the bread, though, the bread. And you know you're paying, as an English club, it's got to be difficult doing business. You're paying. How many times have you seen a British club linked with a player for a ridiculous fee? Couple months or weeks go past, they go for something more sensible elsewhere. So this is what you're going against. So there probably is an element of overpaying. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. They spent 100 million on Naby and Ox, exactly. I didn't say he can't tap it in. I just think Eddie Nketiah's hold-up play and general play is a lot better than Balogun's at this moment in time. But Balogun, you know, Eddie could get accelerated with playing more, but he's played more career appearances than Balogun. He's going to be slightly sharper, slightly more ahead, looks a bit more physical, a bit more, because I can remember when Eddie just used to stand in the box and wait for things to happen, and he's developing, and Balogun's off that as well. Let's just see how both develop. I'd love for both of them to progress to the first team, cut out, properly and cut roles for themselves. Maybe one will be sold. If one can be sold for decent money and the next one's a first team player, why not? We might even be in a reality where both of them, you know what, you've been here for a couple of years, keep it moving, bring in someone who's even better, because that's the reality. If we were scouting and someone that's better than Gabriel Jesus became available and there was a willingness to do it, Arteta has to do it, and then there's a byproduct there. So we just have to monitor them and see what's going on. But it's a good problem to have amongst the many good problems Arsenal now find themselves with this season. Really. Mudryk, Martinelli, Jesus, Nketiah, Saka, Vieira, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Xhaka, squad depth looking good. It's getting there, man, bit by bit. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe. Road to 100k. Join the DG Nation. Come on. What does the arrival of Mudryk and Smith Rowe mean for Vieira? Well, it makes everyone to work that bit harder, because you make sure you're not the one to miss out in it, as it should be. Smith Rowe and even Saka to a degree, bro, you got a target on your back. As much as I love you lot, love what you're bringing to the carpet, love the fact that you've progressed from the academy and earned the right to be, when Smith Rowe was fit and firing, one of the first names on the team sheet. But the only way is down. If you are number 7 for your football club or number 10, you're at the top of the mountain. You have to stay there. The only way is down. Everyone's coming for that spot, especially them attacking things, Consistency is what's going to make the key, and they're doing that right now. So just make sure you're not the one missing out. Make sure you, like people are doing this year, give Arteta headaches. Give him headaches, good headaches. I can't leave Smith out because of this. I put him there. No, but Odegaard's there. Give him a headache. Make Arteta have hardly any sleep because he don't know what to do. Simple as that. Mudryk coming in as Smith Rowe is unreliable. They'll sell him in the summer. Get out of here. Man said selling Smith Rowe in the summer. Get out. Man said unreliable. He's not able to stay fit currently. Unreliable. Get out. Leave it out. Why do fans make competition between players? It's a good debate to have, but if both make it here, great. If no one makes it here, cool. Move it, keep moving. But I would say, the better we get as a team and the more we start challenging, if we're to challenge for stronger things, the margins become smaller. A good byproduct that a lot of these players were able to exploit is we had to do a grand reset. We had to, because we was doing years of bad processes. Now we're trying to do years of good things. So it all depends how you look at it. But just let them develop and do their thing, man.